Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. This is the November 2nd meeting of the Planning Board. We'll move right into the agenda. We don't have minutes to approve, so we can skip over that. Item 3 is to review and sign bills. We have a bill for $9.92 for William B. Mason and $1,201.25 for technical peer review of the Sewell Street application. Anybody have any questions on those?
No question, Chair.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes as read by Chair.
No, those are the bills.
Oh, bills, yeah. Sorry.
Second.
I move that we approve the bills as read by the Chair. Sorry.
Okay.
Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Board member comments. Anybody have any comments they'd like to make this evening?
No comment,
No.
Chair.
No? Okay, well, I don't. Do you?
Yes, so that's the next item, staff report.
Okay.
So this is a new one we're piloting, kind of just going over, I don't have the printed copy for you tonight. It was just issued yesterday, but we'll be including our bi-weekly updates to the board, just kind of detailing the planning department's activities. So running through those really quickly, some of the prior week's focuses for the board's knowledge. We did have the Boylston Planning Department reached out to us regarding the Barnard Estates subdivision. Part of that is there's an agreement for Jacobson Road that at the end of their subdivision, that Jacobson Road will be opened. So we'll be coordinating with them in regards to that agreement. But that's more of a Boylston issue, but
Well, that's the one that's Jacobson's off of Colonial, right?
correct, yep.
Yeah.
We also conducted a site walk of the Summit Ridge Estates with the engineering department and other staff looking at work to be completed prior to a road acceptance request from them. So we did issue some comments back, but in the near future, they will be coming for the board for road acceptance and then to town meeting. But we'll continue to monitor that project and the remaining work to be completed. We conducted a community outreach meeting, actually just last night for the Jordan Pond project that we're working on, mixed-use trail. Received a lot of, I think, positive feedback in relation to that. We'll be sending out the presentation slides to the residents that attended, as well as creating a project page for people to follow along as that moves forward. So that'll be on our planning department website for anyone interested to get involved in that.
So, excuse me, one second, Chris. This project at this stage is just for the design.
Correct, thank you. Yeah, so it's just for the design and permitting. Actual construction, we'll need to seek funding for that, and that'll be at a later date.
Chris, did that get any funding from CPA?
So that was funded through a Mass Trails grant with the local match coming from staff support. So we're doing some administrative duties and other staff activities, like helping with the community outreach in order to make a local match. So there's no actual local funding going to it, just staff hours. So
It's possible
This.
when we get to the point of construction, if we don't have enough money in the grant,
Yeah.
assuming we get the grant, we might go to CPA
Yeah.
and ask them for some of the money. It qualifies, so.
Yeah, yes.
It's just too early to know yet.
yeah, I anticipate we'd probably look for another Mass Trails grant or something similar, and then obviously for that, I'm not going out and doing construction, so the local match would, we would look at CPA or some other local source to meet that need. So assistant planner interviews are going along. We've kind of narrowed down to 3 candidates, one of which we interviewed just this afternoon. So we have additional interviews the following week. I do think that the second round is going well so far. So hopefully we'll have someone for that position shortly. Other tasks and meetings, we did a pre-application meeting with a developer looking at a parcel on Clinton Street. We did a field inspection of the Market Basket Starbucks. So that project is substantially complete and in conformance with the plans for the board. So they've completed that work. We also met with CMRPC in regards to coordination on the MBTA zoning. 2 outcomes of that meeting is we'll be doing an MHP application seeking funding for the economic feasibility analysis. And, CMRPC is one of the consultants that could work on that, but it's really MHP chooses who they give us as a consultant. We're also going to use some of the remaining technical assistance that we have for this year, potentially for their compliance model. They'll give us some assistance with that. It's a kind of a formulaic model that once we have the zoning in place, they run the properties and the zoning through it to make sure that it meets the compliance model framework outlined in the legislation.
Quick question on the CMRPC meeting that you had relating to MBTA.
Yep.
Would that have used some of the available planning hours already, or is that one of those freebies that we get?
Yeah, we used the technical assistance hours that we allocated for a lot of those for the mapping of the trails under the power lines. They went out with the GPS unit and collected a lot of that data. There's still a few hours remaining, and so that's what we'll use that to assist with the compliance model. We'll probably have to still do some in-house work with that, but we'll squeeze what we can out of the remaining hours. So, yep. We have community preservation on Monday. So just a kind of note on that. Town meeting is going to be coming up quick. I know it seems far away, but there is a review process for that. So if there are projects that anyone on the board or the community would like to see, please reach out to our office, and we're happy to help put together applications. They're going to start reviewing those in the next couple months leading up to the Maytown meeting. So, what else? I did send out a notice late today, so I apologize for the November 7th meeting hosted. It's a webinar hosted by CMRPC at 6:30, and it's their planning boards meeting with planning boards in their region. The topic for that webinar will be digital equity. It's free, so the link is there to register. Please feel free to attend that if that's something that interests you. And then we also have a community outreach meeting for Green Street project on November 9th. And those notices went out to a number of abutters for that project as well. So we're hoping to have a good discussion of that prior to it going to the ZBA.
Is that on Job Corps?
No, that is
Next to
the
the Job Corps property?
33 to 69 Green Street, so up by Route 20.
Okay.
That piece that's right across the light when you go on South,
Yep.
there's a sign there.
Yep.
It's that piece between there and South Street.
Okay.
And that is my staff report.
Great. Good idea with the update.
Thank you.
That's helpful.
Did I mention the MBTA outreach meeting
Yes.
on the 15th?
No.
I don't know that you gave the date, but
Okay, yeah, so we'll be having a MBTA outreach meeting for the community on November 15th as well.
This is for the zoning part,
This is
right?
for the zoning, yeah, so, for that, we'll be doing, a presentation, very similar to what, was presented to the select board and the planning board. Probably a little bit more detail of, or background for the public that may not have followed it from the very beginning. And then we'll have, some activities, some planning styled activities with maps and other tools to kind of engage the discussion, and then follow up with a kind of roundtable discussion. So, really hoping to get some engagement, get some ideas from the public of what they want to see in relation to that zoning. That'll be an ongoing process all the way through May, when we're looking to adopt zoning, so.
Where's that gonna be?
That will be at the senior center at, if I can get the time correct. (6:30 p.m. at the senior center. On November 15th.
Got it. Great. Okay, do you have anything else, Mr. McGoldrick?
That's it, thank you.
Okay. Okay, on to our meetings and hearings. The first hearing schedule is the proposed common driveway, special permit for Capstone Realty on 36 Sewell Street. But the applicants asked for a continuance, so we need to vote on that?
Yes, we do.
I'll make a motion to continue the hearing for Capstone Realty Trust
Until,
until the next
Until-
year? Until the next meeting?
December 7th.
I'm sorry?
December 7th.
December 7th.
A second?
okay, motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Okay, so that was a quick hearing. Item 7 is new business. The first item on there is the senior housing regulations. We talked about that last meeting a little bit. Since then, Chris and I have been working on a draft based on what we talked about. And we met with, two of us, and Louise met and reviewed the rough draft. We're gonna try to have that done, so we can bring it back for discussion for the December meeting. And get the board's input. And get it in a form that's readable. It wasn't, well, it was, it just didn't flow. So anyways, it's
That makes
coming
sense.
along. We found Franklin has a nice bylaw. We're able to take a lot of ideas from that, so it's practical. Some of the other ones are not. They really aren't. But anyway, so, I don't know if you have any questions on that. You want to wait until the next meeting? But if you have any questions,
No.
okay. Next is to review the proposed edits to the rules and regulations for site plan approvals and special permits. Ms. McGough, do you want to take us through that?
Yep, so these, are the rules and regulations, updates. We had discussed this at the previous meeting. They're primarily related to, the adoption of our online permitting system, and surrounding the process of that, just cleaning up the language a bit. So those have been reviewed by, town council, and his edits were incorporated. I'm happy to kind of run through those, if the board would like, but ultimately, we're just looking to, have the board, endorse those, vote to endorse those tonight.
The only thing that's changing is to align it with the electronic application system, right?
Correct, yeah.
I'm not changing any of the.
No, it's more procedural than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
really. It's-
And the process is all the same, and the
Yeah.
process really is dictated by state legislation anyways. But primarily what it is referencing our online application rather than, paper filing with the clerk and just amending some of that language. But, other than that, the process remains the same, and, it's really just procedural edits.
Okay,
So do we need a motion to adopt, or,
Yeah, yes, to adopt the amendments.
okay?
But before that, does anybody have any questions? about
I
it?
have a question. Folks that are not computer savvy and they want to apply for the permit, is there help available for them?
There is, so, the paper process remains in
It's still
effect. You
intact?
can do both.
Okay.
We are gonna try to encourage as much as possible the online permitting process. But, you know, there's certainly, certainly still able to do the paper, based process. Just administratively, we would have to then upload a lot of that documentation. We may look at providing some limited office hours that someone who needs help doing that, will have some staff time. We haven't really formulated how that would work with staff capacity, but, we may look to do something like that in the future, so.
How do you know how the building department does it? They must run into the same issue. They've had their permitting online for a while.
Yeah, they've had the permitting online for a while. I mean, I think, you know, there is, I think, a little bit of a learning curve, but I think most people who use it regularly, have really picked it up pretty quickly. I mean, it really is the same process as normally would happen. It's just, you can do it digitally, like on your computer, rather than handing the paper to someone. You just upload it. So, I think I won't say that there isn't a learning curve, but, it's fairly straightforward.
Well, that's if you're not like one of us seniors.
For most of the,
But-
for most of the reports that come in, like 8.5 by 11, it's no problem. But for some of these sheets of plans, you certainly need better equipment in terms of a bigger screen and probably the right software and things like that. You know, so I agree with you that it takes a little bit of learning and some equipment, but I think it's that's where everybody's going, and that's where I think we have to go to.
Anything else?
Make a motion to accept the proposed edits to the rules and regs for site plan approval and special permits.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Next order of business is to review and discuss the MBTA community zoning. Mr. McGover, do you have anything on that?
That's where I was gonna mention the, community forum on the 15th. So that's my update for.
A quick question on that. Like, again, it's not related to our MBTA zoning, but I knew in the past, I read that Holden was not going to be quote unquote the MBTA or adjoining community. Do we know anything more about where that is going and whether that kind of thing would have an impact on our community?
It wouldn't have an impact per se on our community. I have not followed it. I'm not gonna say I've followed it that closely, but my understanding is they've started to reach out for technical assistance in order to pass MBTA compliant zoning.
Oh, so they
They
changed.
may be pursuing both options. Again, I haven't
Okay.
followed it
Oh.
that closely, but, my understanding is they may be looking to pass zoning.
Originally, they were the only community, the MBTA community that said they weren't gonna do it.
Correct.
Mm, yeah,
So everybody's kind of watching to see what happened to them.
yeah, yeah. And they were going to lose some significant funding, right? Like, or grant funding
Wouldn't have,
probably if
yeah.
they don't do it.
Yep.
Okay, good, yeah, just checking.
Okay. The next item is D, to endorse the tree guidelines that the Conservation Commission had developed. Didn't we talk about that a little bit? last
Yeah, so,
meeting?
so this was another one that was from last meeting. Again, it came kind of at the 11th hour, so this was provided from through the conservation department, and looks at, just guidelines of tree plantings and maintenance. It would be a guideline, not a strict compliance or regulatory requirement, but it is something that the board could reference in rendering a decision or looking at landscaping, and just provides a little bit more, kind of, review of that, a document that we can look at as, here's our best practices that we have defined. With that, again, we'd be looking to have the board endorse them as guidelines. It just gives them a little bit more kind of weight behind them as a reference document, and then forward a recommendation to the select board from the planning board requesting that they also endorse, and we'll put it on, we'll forward it to the select board for their review as well.
Okay. Anybody have any comments, questions?
No?
I thought it was a good document. When I first opened it and saw it was like 93 pages, but I think it's helpful. Most people don't know about the different trees and plantings that are most appropriate for this area, so I think it'll help. If it was a mandate, that'd be a little different, but it's not, so. Except we're still under the mandate for the longhorn beetle, probably forever, but other than that, I thought it was a good document. I don't know who put it together, but that had to take a lot of time.
Yeah, I know the conservation agent worked, probably did the lion's share of work on that, and worked some long hours putting that together, and I think it is a comprehensive document, so.
Yeah, it came out good. Anyone else? No? Anybody want to make a motion to endorse the plan and, the tree guidelines, and send a letter to the select board?
Sure. I'll make a motion to endorse the tree guidelines as presented and request the endorsement of the select board.
I second.
Okay, we have motion second. Any further discussion? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Okay, next item of business is the Citizen Planner Training Collaborative, e-workshop opportunities. We got something from CMRPC.
Yeah, so this is the CPTC, so the Citizen Planner Training Collaborative. They issued their list of this year's e-workshop opportunities. So there's a number of those that are included in the email that was sent on a variety of topics. I've attended a few of those in the past, and there is a wealth of knowledge from that group that I do think those workshop opportunities are good if people can attend them, and if it's a topic that interests you. A lot of those do come with some fee, generally around $15. We do carry a budget for reimbursing any fees that the board members, or we could register for you if needed, but we do carry a budget to pay those fees, so it shouldn't be out of pocket from any board members. So if you are interested in attending any of those, please reach out to our office, and we're happy to coordinate.
Those are all online, right?
Yep, they're all online.
So available to the general public as well.
I believe so, yep.
I believe this is the same that used to be conducted at Holy Cross College a few years ago, right, Chris? CPTC, they used to provide these trainings there as part of a weekend conference.
They may have.
In the past, I did attend theirs, a couple of these sessions.
Yeah, they do a lot of training, not just, you're right, not just via online methods, but yeah, they do a lot of good training opportunities.
So this is just calling out this meeting, but any of the ones that are in that program, we could sign up for?
Yep.
This meeting on December 6th.
Yeah, I think there was a list of other ones that.
Yeah, but I mean, the letter was, because CMRPC is sponsoring that one, but you can go on to any, log on to any, or register for any of them, right?
Right.
Okay.
great.
Questions? Okay. Then we're on to our next order of business. The discussion about 315 and 335 Maple Ave Common Driveway, declaration of a common driveway and utility easement. You've had some correspondence on this. You want to fill in the board where we are?
Yeah, so, so this one, this was provided to the board. It's a declaration of the common driveway and utility easement related to a common driveway that was permitted in 2015. We did have some, I did provide some comments, to which the applicant provided an attorney opinion in regards to the easement. I did have that opinion reviewed by town council and just had a phone call with them this afternoon, so I don't have it in writing. I apologize, but without getting into the real detail of it, the town council's opinion is aligned with the opinion that was provided to us, that the common driveway had vested rights in regards to that. So the 2017 amendment to the frontage regulations in regards to easements does not affect this property in his opinion.
So, right. So
In this case.
In a sense, it's grandfathered.
Correct, yeah, in this
But-
case, right.
But the easement rule in the bylaws is legal and is enforceable. Not for this, because it was permitted before that.
Correct,
But it is enforceable, right?
correct, it is.
Because the way I read the attorney's letter that we got, sounded like he was saying, no, but that's not really the issue. The issue is whether or not they were gonna have to comply with something new.
Right, so essentially, it's not enforceable in this case due
Right.
to the history of the special permit granting and the nature of it being, serving another property, so the frontage is not required for this lot. It serves a different lot,
So do they still have to come back to do anything about their permit?
No, so this is just satisfying one of the conditions in the special permit.
Okay.
And my concern, which I was raising with that, is I wanted to make sure that we weren't, by accepting, the requirements, the provisions that are required by the special permit, I wanted to make sure that we weren't inadvertently inhibiting the buildability of the lot, which, again, the interpretation of our town council is that it does not, so.
Okay. Good. Okay, any questions, comments?
No question.
Okay. Looking for the rest of the meeting. There isn't any. Do you have any? What about old business? Do we have anything to take up under old business? I didn't think so.
No, we do not.
Okay. Correspondence, we don't have any correspondence.
Nope.
Nope. So I guess, do you have anything else you want to mention to the board before ask for a motion to adjourn?
I think I covered it in the staff report, so.
Okay, I think, when I ask, I think it's gonna come quickly, so. Okay, then there being nothing else, does anybody else have anything you want to bring up before? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have motion second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. We are adjourned. Good evening.
Was this?